I told our guys, I was absolutely embarrassed with our performance tonight. And not embarrassed by necessarily the result of losing the game, but just completely embarrassed by our response. I thought we fought back. All of a sudden, it was a tie game. We were playing really hard. Then all of a sudden, a couple threes went in, and all of a sudden, our team really splintered apart. And I thought we didn't play as hard. All of a sudden, we lost a lot of details on the defensive end. And listen, we're playing walk-ons. We're playing a lot of freshmen out there. But they got to figure it out, sink or swim, right? Sink or swim. And tonight we obviously sunk. But again, I thought the only bright spot that I could pull out of this whole thing was Will Stevens, who's a walk-on. Will came in the game. He played hard. I told Will, to the team afterwards, Will's not very talented. And that's no slight on Will. But Will plays hard. And he loses himself in the game. I know he fouled out. But again, listen, you could tell he was out there. You felt him. And tonight I didn't feel a lot of our guys. I saw a lot of blank stares on their faces once we got punched in the mouth. It's old Mike Tyson line. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And our response tonight was not good. It's been better in previous games, but tonight was not good, and that's got to change, and that will change moving forward.
We'll open it up to some questions.
How do you account for pretty gutsy effort at Georgia on the road? Then you come home, and as you said yourself, it's kind of an embarrassment. Where's that come from?
I don't know. I think like it's I don't want to like sugarcoat anything. I think it's a response. We got down at Georgia as well, and we fought back. I told the guys going into this game, I thought Marshall was more talented than Georgia. I really did. And I didn't think it was even close. Now again, players would say, "Oh, well, SEC team, right, coach? That's SEC." I'm like, hey, Marshall, they're not a high major, but their guards are. I can tell you that their guards could play anywhere in the country. Anywhere. They'd be first-team all-league guys in the MAC. They have 3 of them that are old, experienced, skilled, can shoot, handle, pass. They're elite, and they can all shoot the ball. And, give them credit. I mean, they played a really good game. They shot the ball really well, but at the same time, our guys gave them too much space. This isn't horse. You can't if you make it a game of horse against Marshall, Marshall's going to win dang near every game of horse, I can tell you that. They ain't going to lose many of those. And, tonight, again, we had some guys that got to learn from it, though. That's the only thing that I can say is, and again, I wasn't embarrassed. I want to make this very clear. With the result, I'm embarrassed by the response that we had to adversity. All right, I want to be very, very clear on that.
Coach, Mekhi Larry had such an explosive offensive game against Georgia. It just felt like he couldn't get much space out there tonight. Did you see any reason why you think that might be?
No. They were trying to get the ball out of his hands a lot. They were trying to make other guys make plays. And, unfortunately, I think Ryan had 5 turns. I think Julian had 4, right? I believe. Yeah, so that was 9 of our 18 turnovers right there. They got to make better decisions with the ball. And, they got to play off of 2, can't get sped up. We got to keep our spacing better on the floor. But I felt like when we lost the game early on, like it was dang near a tie. I don't know the exact score. It was like 27-28 or whatever it was. And we started taking some quick shots. And it's like, listen, we can't out-Marshall Marshall. Marshall's one of the fastest teams in the country. They're going to be top 5 in tempo every year. All right, every year. And if we're going to try to play their game, we ain't beating them. We got no shot. We got to slow down. And we got to milk the clock a little bit right now, especially with all the injuries and stuff that we have.
Coach, like you mentioned, with the team that you have anyway and who you've got left to play with and everything, you're probably going to favor a slower tempo, most of the time. And I know you'd mentioned it before that this team coming in was one of the faster tempo, pace of play teams in the country. How do you try to slow a team like that down?
Yeah, I think number one, you can't turn the ball over, right? Turnovers lead to touchdowns, right? It's like you turn the ball over. Live ball turnovers lead to layups, dunks, wide open threes. Good shots, shot selection, extremely important. A bad shot can be like a turnover because nobody expects you to shoot it, right? So then all of a sudden you can't get your defense set. So I think how you slow a team down is with your offense, right? You got to be able to slow them down so you can get your defense set. Because if you can't get your defense set, you're constantly in that scramble mode. Like big fella Anderson kept on running back into the middle of the paint tonight. And you can't do that against Marshall. A lot of times they won't run anybody to the rim. Their big guys will kind of run to the elbows or three, right? So they're a little bit different. And it's like usually most teams will run a guy to the rim, but they don't. And we knew that in scouting. You can't run into the paint. And we kept on doing it over and over and over again. And I always say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? It starts with your offense. I really believe that's how you slow a team down. You got to make them work side to side, bleed the clock a little bit, and allows your defense to get set.
Well, it was tough enough to deal with their speed and the fact that they were hitting, from afar, early on and everything. But they also seemed to be fairly successful against Miami's offense. What was the toughest thing about running the offense against a team like that has that kind of length and that kind of speed, even on the defensive side? Yeah,
they make you play off the bounce. We don't have a lot of guards right now. I'll be very honest. We don't. They make you dribble. If we can cut and we can move and we're pretty good. We look pretty good out there. All right, when we can pass, all of a sudden we got to make plays off the dribble. It's a little bit different. That's where we struggle right now. I thought Makai would get a little bit too deep on penetration, where his size becomes a disadvantage, right? Sometimes off the bounce. Julian and Ryan got to make much better decisions off the bounce for us moving forward, and they will. They'll learn. Like I said, Ryan's a freshman. Again, he's probably, dang, what just happened? That's sometimes how you feel when you're a freshman, and he'll get better from it because we need him to be a lot better, and he will be.
Coach, 6 for 32 from 3 tonight. Is this a better shooting team than that?
It is if we take good ones. Yeah, it is if we take good ones. I thought we had some good looks. I'm not going to say that we didn't, but we looked out of it tonight. And again, I thought once we got punched in the mouth, that I did not like our response. So I'm not going to blame it on shooting. I always say your defense can keep you in games, right? When you have off shooting nights, right? Like it keeps you in games. Defense and rebounding, and taking care of the ball. Like those 3 things always win, always have, and always will. We got to be more concerned with that than necessarily our shooting, in my opinion.
Did Marshall throw anything at you that y'all didn't expect at all?
Honestly, I feel like we just didn't compete. I feel like our coaches did a good job, like with the scouting report and everything they have to do. I feel like we just didn't come out ready to play today.
Anderson, it felt like from the opening buzzer, Marshall just couldn't miss a shot. What does it feel like when you're out there and they're just draining 3 after 3, shot after shot? Is it frustrating?
I mean, they're a good team. Like, they talented, so, like, we were expecting that. It was in the scouting report. So we knew it was coming. We just didn't execute. Like, we didn't talk on defense, all of that. So we knew it was coming. They're a really talented team, so.
How long has it been, or have you been up against that kind of combination of size and speed, out of the big guys that you had to face?
Last year at Cleveland State, we played, like, they were actually, like, 10 not really that big, like the 5 men and stuff like that. So, yeah, like, these is actually kind of new to me, like, playing against the big guys like that. They can shoot and spread out and all that. So, this is kind of new to me.
As a senior member of the team, do you feel compelled at this point to do anything different or anything special to either get the team on track or keep them on track?
We just got to keep working. We got to just stick together. Like, after a game like these, people going to be, like, talking all that. We just got to stick together and keep it going, keep getting better and practice and next game.